Okay, so we can proceed. So yesterday we looked at the conceptual framework, which is non-negotiable as you are doing your M&E plan. The conceptual framework is supposed to be there. The only way you are going to understand the problem, the problem in details, is it comes when you build your conceptual framework. So it's non-negotiable that you include your conceptual framework in your M&E plan. Then for these other frameworks that we are going to tackle, you can choose to go, you can pick only one. Others they would prefer to go with the logic model, others they would prefer to use the result framework, then others would prefer to use the logical framework. So today we are going to look at the result framework and how we can go about developing the result framework. And that's the definition which is there, the result framework. So the result framework actually, just from the word itself, result. Just from the word itself, result framework. Others, they call it a strategic framework. So when you hear some people saying, let's come up with a strategic framework, then just know that they're talking about a result framework. And all these things that are this point and this point, even other frameworks, they are able to do this. Other frameworks are able to do this, they are able to do this, but the only difference is that there are certain things that the result framework will not capture, which other frameworks will also capture, then other frameworks will not capture certain things which the result framework is going to capture. So the difference is that the result framework does not include the input and the process. It begins at the result level. Then other frameworks will include the inputs, then they include the activities. Now you can move on to the result. But with the result framework, the only thing that you are interested in is for you to know the results. If we do this, what are we likely to see in this particular project? So I can now quickly show you, this is how the result framework is supposed to be developed. I will explain everything, don't worry. Just relax and take a look at the result framework. I will explain so that you understand. I'm just giving you about a minute just to take a look. If you have any question, even before I explain, you can proceed to ask as many questions as possible. So this is how you're supposed to build the result framework. Don't jumble things and start from the top and going down. Then it proceeds to the result framework. The result framework is always led from the bottom going up. So you can take a look. You can take a look at the result framework. You can take a look at the result framework. Okay, so should we begin now dissecting all the points one by one? Or you are still leading through? Okay, I'll give you 30 more seconds. And all these frameworks that we are talking about, all these things comes before you start with the actual implementation. So developing this is part of planning. Developing the conceptual framework is part of planning. No wonder we said that planning in monitoring and evaluation is very fundamental. You cannot ignore that component of planning. So by virtue of you doing this means you are doing planning. By virtue of you developing the conceptual framework, that's planning aspect of the monitoring and evaluation. Okay, so we can begin dissecting these things one by one, right? Okay, so I'll start from the top, then from there we can now go to the bottom. So if you see on top here, who can read for us this point? Who can read for us? Who can read for us this? Yes, sir. Thank you so much, son. Improved health status and or decreased fertility. This is where we want to be as a project. In other words, this is the impact. We are assuming that the impact that this project is going to cause in society to bring about improved health status and reduce fertility. Are we together? That's the overall goal. We can do quite a number of things, but the only thing that we want to achieve at the end of the day is to see that there is improvement in terms of health status in that particular community, and also on the other side, we must be able to see that fertility is declining or reducing. Are we together? This is where we want to be. Then beyond that, you are also now going to have what is called SO, or strategic objective, which is improved use of health for family planning services and and appropriate practices, right? So if you were to achieve this objective, is it true that this achievement of this objective or achieving of this objective will lead to this? Is it true that if we see improved in the use of health and family practices and where there are appropriate practices, is it true that this bullet can result into improvement in the health status in the community? It's true, right? So then this we can call it as what? We call it impact, output, or outcome. I've confused you, right? Exactly. So let me explain a little bit the chain. So the first thing, you start at inputs. You look at the resources that you have. That includes the facilities, the human resources, the monetary aspect of it. It begins from there. Once you've gathered or once you've mobilized the resources, now you can move on to start doing your activities. Are we together? So once you start doing your activities, from your activities, there will be something that you can tell that this thing has been delivered to the people. There will be immediate results that you are able to see right after conducting that activity. And such results are called output. Are we together? Then after you having your output, there will be something that will happen in the middle here before you can say that there has been improvement in the health status or rather decreased fertility in society. There must be something that should happen in the middle here. And that very thing that happens in the middle, before you reach to the impact, is called an outcome. And an outcome is not something that you can see after 2 days, after 3 days. It's something that you are going to see after a period of time, depending on the nature of the problem. If, for example, if you are talking about HIV prevalence, you don't expect HIV prevalence to reduce within 2 days. No. You expect HIV prevalence to start doing maybe after 2 years. Maybe let's say your project is there to exist for 10 years, right? So before you clock that 10 years, the impact is that very thing that you are going to see after 10 years. Then the outcome is something that you are going to see in the middle here, and that thing will come because you had an output somewhere. An outcome will never come if you haven't had an output. So an output will come first. Then through the process, maybe let's say at the middle, should be able to see the outcome. Then that outcome now will eventually lead to your impact. So here when you look at this thing called, here it's not called that as an outcome, we call it a strategic objective. But in other frameworks, we are going to be calling this particular strategic objective as an outcome. So in this particular framework, the objective which we have here, this is now what is called an outcome. Then this outcome now will result in the impact. So now for us to be able to understand these things better, we are now going to start from the bottom because we build this particular framework from the bottom going to the top. So we are going to understand what usually happens and why we have these bullets and these bullets and these bullets and these bullets. Are we together? So we can start. We can start by. We'll start from the left side. We start looking at liquidity, commodities and facilities, and access and availability. So this framework, it being a result framework, then it means that it starts viewing things from the result side. It doesn't care about what you are going to do. It doesn't care about the resources that you are going to put in. This results only cares about what you are going to see from the combination of your resources and the activities. As simple as that. Doesn't matter the process, it doesn't matter the way, it doesn't matter the means, but this particular framework will only just focus on the results that you are going to see after you adding those, after you adding the money, after you employing people, and after you giving the service or rather conducting your activities. What are you going to see after doing that? And that's where the result framework begins from. Are we together? But with these other frameworks, which we have not covered yet, they start doing things starting from the inputs. You need to look at the resources. This is how much we need in this particular project. For us to be able to do these particular activities, this is how much we need. We are going to employ these people with these qualifications and so on and so forth. But for this particular framework, it is not bothered about the input and the activities. The whole thing this framework cares about are the results. What are you going to see in your project? Are we? So we can start from there. So our goal, so we should be relating whatever that we have to our goal, because everything that will be happening here, eventually, it has to lead to the goal. No wonder when developing these frameworks, like I was saying yesterday, you are not going to be doing this thing alone. You are going to be, maybe let's say, if you go for a workshop, you are going to be brainstorming, because it's possible for someone to put an idea on the table, but through logical discussions, you can either disqualify that or maintain that particular suggestion, right? So even if all these points that we have here, when you look at these things, they are all pointing to the goal. That's where we want to be as a project. That's our major focus. So we are going to start from the left side, and the way we identify the results here, we begin by identifying those things that are going to happen immediately. Are we together? Which are outputs, isn't it? Then that particular output, it will result into something. Then that other thing will also result into other thing. In other words, we are going to have the chain of the results. I mean, we are going to have a chain of results before we can attain our goal. This thing happens, just like we were doing yesterday in the conceptual framework. But here we've got climate change. Climate change leads to what? Drought. Drought leads to low water levels. Then eventually water levels is now impacting ZESCO and hence load shedding. Even here, we are going to start by identifying that very thing that we are going to see after conducting an activity. Then in the middle, we are going to see something that is now going to result because of that particular output. For example, if you've given people the condoms, then the output would be that condoms have been distributed, right? So over time, what could be your result from people receiving condoms? The expectation is that people should be using condoms, right? Now, after they have used condoms, now our overall goal is to see that there will be a reduction in HIV prevalence. So we are starting by defining that people have received condoms. By virtue of them receiving condoms, they are going to say that they are going to be using those condoms. That's what is happening in this particular framework. We start by pinpointing that thing that will happen right after doing an activity, then that particular thing will result into something, then that something into something, and that something, it will lead to us to achieve that particular objective that we have. And by virtue of us attaining this objective, it means this now will lead us to the goal. So the first thing which we have identified in this particular framework is equity. Are we moving together, class? Where you are not clear, please ask as many questions as possible. Don't feel shy to ask questions, because at the end you'll be doing these things alone. Yes, madam? Oh, I see. they are not that much difficult. And I do agree we are supposed to put arrows like this, right? Yes, what's supposed to be starting from the bottom, going up, and everything. That's why you see this arrow, everything is pointing to the top. Here. Now, this right is only the point. No, I understand. I understand the point, madam. No, thank you so much. So I'll put in arrows. I'll go and change. But let's understand that we are starting by reading it from the bottom, going up. Are we together? But when building it depends. You can even start from here. Then you start going like this. But don't just confuse it. You should know that I have to do first community support before they can be demanding for the service. You can't have the demand for the service when you do community support. Then it means you fix the two. Are we together? And how we do this thing, that's like what I do for the conceptual framework. Brainstorm, suggest as many possible results as you can. Then from there you begin classifying the call. Between community support and demand, which one is going to come first? Oh, I think demand will never come until we do something society. We need to create demand for this particular service. What are we going to do? Okay, let's do sensitization, right? Once you sensitize the people about the service, the expectation that there will be knowledge change, right? Once they have information, there is knowledge change, then their attitude will change. Once their attitude change, they will demand for the service, right? So here, mostly you forget about the negative side. It's you assuming that after doing our activities, after putting in resources, in other words, you're just assuming that we are likely to see these things because we are just planning, and these things will help us when we begin to develop indicators. I need to have indicators here, I need to have an indicator there, I need to have an indicator here, I need to have an indicator here. So forget about the negative side, only focus about the positive side. We are not interested in the negative side. We are just assuming at this particular point in time. Yes, ma'am. I understand. I'm adding to the numbers. I've seen them. IR4, IR42, then IR. This means intermediate result. So when you reach at this point, you see what is written IR4, full colon then demand, right? Then it means when you have a bullet like this, it means this is the rest of result as compared to this one. Then when you move on, when you put the 4.2, it means knowledge is the rest of result as compared to attitude. Then when you have this one, it means this intermediate result is a lesser result as compared to this one. That's how this number is cut. And for those of you that are doing project management here, and for those of you that have done project management, for you to agree with me that when you are doing the work breakdown structure, this is how you number things. Because you are going to have the project there, then you are going to have your activities, then you are going to have the task, then you are going now to have the final layer or the final level is called sub-tasks. So if this is your task, then whatever you are going to have here, you are going to number them like this, meaning that this thing is going to come earlier, then this now will come after this example. Then this will come after this example. Then this will come after this example. This is how we number this thing. I don't know who invented that, but that's how those things are supposed to be numbered. So we can begin our journey one by one, right? So on the right side, so this is also an adapted framework somewhere. So we start from the left side, IR 1.2. We are saying there is equity. When we talk about equity, what do we talk about exactly? Equity. What's equity? Sorry? I can't hear you, sister. Fairness. Oh, okay. We all agree that equity means fairness. Class. Do we all agree that equity means fairness? You agree? Huh? In development studies, do you agree with me? And those of you that are doing projects, do you agree with her? Yes. Do you agree with her? Who's doing a project? What are you working on? This is the someone who are doing a project. You are doing what let's say in English you are doing yes, that's right. But in projects, usually equity will mean coverage. And of course, when you talk about coverage, it should take you to fairness. So it means you want to cover a large group of people just to make sure that everyone is captured in that particular project. Not only a group of people within the same society are benefiting, the others are not benefiting. So we now agree, sister, that it means fairness, in as much as we can say coverage, but coverage will still take us to fairness. So we are assuming that the first result that we are going to see is that there will be equity. Are we together? Then equity will now result into commodities and facilities. Very difficult to justify the way it is coming, right? Only the person who's building this one will understand better, because this thing the way they have put in this information is very difficult to tell. How can equity lead to commodities and facilities? Possibly. Funding, right? Okay, so Mr. Shamta is suggesting that it might mean funding. Yes, sister, answer something. Mm-hmm. 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 Are being captured, right? Wonderful. Well justified. Have we heard what she has said? That equity will be that in Ngombe they set up a facility, in Maziopa they set up a facility so that the project is inclusive. Everyone is benefiting from the services the project is offering, right? Then because there's that facilities have been developed. It could be ballsy, we don't know whatever those facilities are, right? Then we are assuming that, but because these facilities are now everywhere in Maziopa, in Chipata, in Ngombe, in Loma, in Kalingalinga, then what will happen that now those people start accessing, right? They'll start accessing the service because the service is what? Is available. It's very now convenient for them to access the service. So that ends there then. Access, or let's start with availability. The service is available and hence people are able to access that particular service. Because they have access to that particular service, that accessibility will lead to what? So it will lead to improved use of health and family services and appropriate practices. That's just in general. When people are having access to family planning, for example, because the service is available, then it means that accessibility can be sustained because it's available, the product is available. Someone can go into the clinic and they'll be able to get contraceptive at any point, at any time, because that particular service is available to them. It can be sustained, isn't it? So everything is pointing to improved use of health and family planning services. Then we can go to the second bullet in the middle there. IR24 is talking about that we are going to develop an information system. That's the result. We must see this information system developed. Once we have this information system developed, what are we going to do? Because we have the system now up and running. What are we going to do next? What are we going to see next? We'll see that people will be trained, right? And there will be supervision while we are conducting those trainings, right? Then once people are trained, what are we going to see? provider performance. And provider performance, it will be to result into what? Quality service being administered to the community. So when you look at this, if we give an example she gave, that means this particular bullet is talking about now training those people that will be administering the service within the facilities, isn't it? Because we can't say we'll be training the people. Here when we are saying that we are going to be giving contraceptives, and we said that we are going to build facilities where this service is going to be administered from. Therefore, that means that the people within those clinics or those facilities are the people that are being trained. And because these people have been trained, they are knowledgeable, the expectation is that performance should improve. Then once there's improved performance, it means there should be good quality of that service being administered to the community. Are we together? Because there's good quality there, then it means it's leading to improved use of health or family planning services. Then we can move on to the third bullet, which is starting at IR 3.3. Private sector. Private sector, then we're talking about healthcare finance. Is that point true? Sorry? Private sector, then healthcare finance, then policy and sustainability. Sorry? Okay. So now put here. So when you look at this, you should just read this. It seems like it will be a very complex project. Because here, talking about this from the community point of view, right? And it's talking about internally those people that are using the project. And it's also now bringing the issue of the private sector. Otherwise, this particular point is talking about partnership. Where are we going to get the money? That's where now this point is coming in. For those of you that have done economics and done health economics, you agree with me that the major component of that health economics is just talk about healthcare finance. We can plan those, but if we don't have the money, then these things will not go anywhere. Even when you look at those that are in health, for example, there's what they call 6 pillars of health. And you see that there's healthcare finance. You can have the equipment, you can have technology, you can have what and what, you can have human resource, but if you don't have money, nothing will move, isn't it? So, in this particular project, they are saying that in as much as we are going to be administering these things, we've realized that we may not have a matching resources. So, what are we going to do? We want to build partnership with people from the private sector. So, this can be a result. And in private sector, have been engaged. Then once we have engaged this private sector, what are we going to see? These people should be giving us money, right? Then because we have money, it means we can now sponsor policies, right? Then because of the money is there, we are able to sponsor this policy, then we can sustain the policy. Yes? Sorry? This one? The whole, yeah. This should from here. This one? Yes, this is funded. The information system now follows. The column for hierarchy. To go to the 3, go to 2. Which one? This column. This one is information. Oh, this one? Yes, the whole column. The whole lot. 1, 2, 3, 4. We move it to hierarchy. Or it comes hierarchy. It becomes hierarchy. So that you are funding into the implement. I see, I saw you talking about it. But what about if we also have, we can say, can we also solve this? No, that's the best. We are going to identify people. So this one is the best one, right? So you are saying, this one can move, it goes inside, right? It's the whole. This has to be yes. Then you see, it means moving like that, right? Exactly, like we have source code funds, and then we go to information system, we go to training, then provide a performance budget, and then we move to the last one. Okay. And thank you so much. I don't want to refuse, like we are brainstorming so that we build our own, and this is what happens. I want this class to be very practical rather than just showing you these things. Like As we try to go through these things, now we brainstorm, and actually, just like he has noticed, so it's also possible thing. Here, under the information system, for us to build this information system, we need to have money, right? Once we have money, the healthcare financing, then we can move on to build the system. It's also possible we can build our development like that. Are we? So the way you frame it is correct, and the way also it is also correct. Because this, when you also look at it, means for this service to be available, we need to have money. So it's also again possible. You can also move the private sector. Because there. Are we? But now we want to separate them because everything are all linked together. No wonder this and this and this and this, they are all for a common purpose, and the common purpose is this scope. So in other words, that's more like the way the human body is, right? This thing will function, this thing will function, this thing will function, but they all function for a common purpose. At one point, these things will still be right? No wonder here we are going to work, but it's more like we are going to employ someone who is just going to be looking at the resources. Are we having enough resources? The same resources that we are having here, we are assuming that we are now also going to use them for this, for this, and use them for this, because these things are interlinked and they are all leading to the same purpose. Yes.
I think maybe in your opening remarks, you mentioned you said that the results framework, it doesn't matter much. What is important is at the end of the day that our coordination. I think that was mentioned.
Oh yeah.
So meaning that whatever it's saying should be correct and what you are saying should be correct. But at the end of the day, are we able to reach the goal? I think that's what you are saying.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, that when you look at this, it's a very complex project, and this is just a part of it. So, according to this project, in as much as they want to have this, they are also assuming that engaging the private sector, this particular project, is also a result that they are interested in. In as much as we are going to be offering this and this, I do agree. I know where the point is coming from. Of course, this is assuming that you've got the resources that we are going to use as a benchmark for yourself, as a project, right? Then throughout your project, you're also going to be sourcing for more and more and more and more money. No wonder there's an aspect of now bringing the private sector on board. So they're saying, okay, just us engaging in the private sector or entering into a partnership is a result that's going to be of relevance. Then these guys releasing the money, giving us the money. I do agree that when they give you your money, it's going to be, again, your inputs into your activities, right? So in A, this, according to this particular framework, the way they designed it, they're assuming that, I know, engaging the private sector means you need to arrange for meetings, you need to arrange for what, you need to write those things, so those are your activities again, right? Then what will result from you engaging the private sector is that you've now onboarded the private sector. You ask them. Then these guys now, they're giving you money. When they're giving you money, you can now formulate the policies. Because you've got the money there, working, they're giving you so much billions, then you are able to sustain this particular policy. And this policy will be in line with what you're trying to achieve. Might be about family planning, contraceptive policies. I'm not so sure if there are policies now in Zambia that talks about family planning. Maybe Mara can help us, but I'm sure there should be one. Who can help us? I think there should be one. I think that should have been from 1996. There should be one. Which just talks about family planning and the other services that are supposed to be offered. So, Sister, why you answered your question or you are still doubting that I must go over it again? Then when you go here, you are going to do your activities. We don't know what you are going to do here, right? But the result that you are going to see that people should accept the same, so people should support this particular service. Are we together? That's community support, right? So because these people are buying into your project, they write the services, you've done the training somewhere, and it could be sensitization, assuming that the result that you should be able to measure is what? Knowledge. How knowledgeable are they about the family planning and concept. And this ones, when it comes to developing indicators, it's quite difficult for you to quantify this. And hence, you go for qualitative indicators. So I say, quality of this, knowledge of what, will do those indicators. Then because these people are knowledgeable, what do you expect in a long run? Perception change, right? And here we are assuming that this particular perception is what? On the positive side, not on the negative side, right? Because there's this shift that means there will be what? Demand for the service. Are we together? So if you look at the way demand is here, right? It will still take about where people will be accessing. Or they must need this service. For us to make this service available for them, we should be demanding for the service. No wonder I'm saying that all these things are interlinked and are pointing to one branch, and that particular branch just improve the health status and or decreased fertility. Mr. Nilong, what's the time? We used to have given about 10 or 15 minutes. 8:02. So you can end at 15, right? Is that okay? Okay. So let's forget about this one. Let's use our example that we used yesterday to come up with our own result framework. So maybe from there it might be better. Sorry? Is it okay for us to go up to 2015? Or people are going very far? Going very far? Okay, then that's fine. So, do we understand what it entails when we talk about the result framework and how we are supposed to build this particular framework? Identifying the reasons that you are going to see in that particular project. So here, it might be difficult because we don't know the activities that are going to be doing. Are we together? But if you are going to be working on the project, you've specified the activities that you are going to be doing. It will be very easy for you now to be able to see the results. What are we likely to see after us doing this activity? That's what this framework is asking. It's not asking you to state the actual activities. It's not asking you to state the money that you are going to have, but it's telling you if you engage, if you conduct workshops, or if you summon the private sector, are you going to manage to involve them so that they can finance your activities? If you've gathered community support, is it going to lead to knowledge change, attitude? Are they going to demand for this service? Are you going to make this service available and other people are going to be accessing? In a nutshell, the result framework is just asking you to identify the results that you are likely to see in that particular project, starting with the immediate results, followed by something that from the immediate result, then something that will come in the middle, then the other thing in the middle, then finally that very thing that you desire as a project. The reason why the project exists is your goal, right? Even in institutions, they have got what they call missions, right? The reason why those institutions exist is because of the same mission. They want to be somewhere. After doing this and this and this is where we want to be. Without the mission, there is no institution that can exist because that means they exist for nothing. That's why even for us in a project, why we exist as a project is because of this goal, where we want to ensure that invariably we've improved the health status of people and there is a reduction in fertility. Are we together? So this is how we build the result framework. For those of you that wait for I'm not so sure between the USID and the PEPFAR, but I know there is one. Then they don't use those other frameworks that we are going to cover tomorrow, but then they just use the result framework. Even when you are applying for a grant for the PEPFAR, it should be PEPFAR if I'm correct. Even when you are applying for a grant, because they will expect you also to assume, assuming that you have your activity somewhere, what are you going to see in your project? And also, there's this expectation of you getting your immediate results moving, and now you are finally going to achieve your goal. Without you specifying this in your grant, it will be very difficult for you to win a grant from PEPFAR. So this is how the result framework is built. I can address the questions before you can call it a day. I can address the questions before you can call it a day. Have we understood? But for me, I'll give an assignment and I'll assume that people have understood. And the assignment should be there so that we build our own M&E plan. I'm sure it will be far much better. If there are no questions, then we can call it a day. Then we meet tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll make it on time. Before 19, I'll be here. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.